O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Ahurquit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
What if the algorithms controlling your social media feeds aren't just, lines of code, but actual autonomous magical entities feeding on your outrage? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at the 2025 anthology, This is Chaos, Embracing the Future of Magic, edited by Peter J. Carroll.
Thanks for having me. This is such a fascinating collection of essays to dig into.
It really is. And, okay, let's unpack this, because if you're picturing dusty grimoires and stoopy robes, you need to just throw that image out entirely. What we are actually looking at here is a highly technical fusion of quantum mechanics, cybernetics, and, neurohacking.
Yeah, we're looking at what Carroll calls the pandemonium. It's essentially this idea that humanity is just drowning in an era of exponential information overload. The systemic complexity is massive right now. And because our environment has so radically changed, the underlying architecture of how we interact with reality, magical or otherwise, has to completely adapt just so we can survive.
It's like having to completely replace the underlying operating system on your phone because the old one just keeps crashing under the weight of all these new apps.
It's very similar to that, but with one crucial difference. In this case, you are actually part of the hardware. The book argues that we have to abandon the old, rigid idea of magic, where you petition a top-down controlling deity to fix your problems. They call that the PMP, or Platonic Monotheist Pagan Paradigm.
Oh, got it. So replacing that old paradigm with what exactly?
Right. So instead, we have to view reality as this decentralized, hackable network. That's the quantum neo-pagan framework. In this framework, chaos isn't malevolent or evil or anything. Scientifically speaking, chaos is literally just a state of high entropy. It is raw, untapped potential.
Okay, so you're almost treating belief like a physics exploit in a video game. You aren't begging the universe for a favor. You're actually using your own belief as a neutral technology to deliberately collapse quantum probabilities in your favor.
What's fascinating here is how incredibly practical this gets. Practitioners of this new framework, they don't care if a symbol or a pantheon is historically accurate.
They just care if it works.
Exactly. They only care if it successfully hacks the system and gets results. The symbol is basically just an arbitrary tool to interface with the underlying matrix of reality. Radical relativism in action.
But wait, I have to push back on this a little bit. If this belief technology is so highly effective at collapsing probabilities, why shouldn't you just use it to fix every single minor inconvenience in your life? Like, oh, traffic jam, boom, magic. Bad day at work, boom, magic.
Well, because highly entangled complex systems just do not work like that.
Yeah.
Joseph Carica actually wrote a brilliant essay in this anthology warning against exactly that impulse. He calls it naive interventionism. You have to think of reality like a giant, intricate spider web.
Okay, a spider web. So pulling on it messes everything else up.
Basically, yeah. If you use heavy-handed magic on a complex system, like, say, your personal finances or your relationships, you're pulling way too hard on one specific thread. The physical mechanism of the web violently snaps the other threads attached to it.
Wow, so it causes massive, unpredictable collateral damage.
Exactly. The system pushes back. Reality resists extreme polarities.
Think about the last time you tried to force a major life change through sheer willpower. Did it backfire in a weird way? Because that is exactly what Carica is talking about. So how do you avoid that blowback?
Well, he offers a pretty radical workaround.
Yeah, and here's where it gets really interesting. His solution is tactical randomization.
Right. Practitioners have to use what he calls magical guerrilla warfare. To avoid triggering reality's defense mechanisms, they constantly vary their rituals, they change the times of day they practice, and they radically disrupt their own routines.
It's exactly like a computer hacker constantly changing their IP address to avoid triggering a system's firewall. You stay unpredictable so the local reality matrix can't recognize the pattern.
Right. It prevents the system from developing resistance to your interventions.
Okay, so if personal reality acts like a sensitive web that resists blatant manipulation, what happens when we scale that up? Because, the internet is essentially the biggest, most complex system of human attention ever created.
Yeah.
It must be the ultimate chaotic environment for these probability exploits.
And that brings us perfectly to Dave Lee's essay on online egregores. Historically, an egregore is an autonomous entity produced by the collective focus and emotional energy of a group.
Wait, I want to make sure I'm following. So it's an entity created just from a group of people focusing on it.
Yeah, exactly. But now Lee is applying that esoteric concept to modern digital infrastructure.
Hold on. If an egregore is fueled by collective focus, does this mean social media algorithms are essentially functioning as automated global ritual mechanisms designed to farm our emotional outrage?
Yes. That is the logical and honestly somewhat terrifying conclusion of his essay. Those algorithms are engineered to relentlessly optimize for engagement and tribal identity. Right. They effectively feed immense volumes of human attention directly into digital thought forms. It's this complete merging of cybernetics with esoteric practice. The digital infrastructure itself is basically acting as an automated egregore factory.
That is just wild. So what does this all mean for you listening? Well, whether you actively practice magic or you just want to survive the modern world, the takeaway is pretty much the same. Complex systems, from your personal habits to the social media ecosystems you scroll through, they violently react to hyper-focused intervention.
Yeah, upgrading your own operating system means learning to navigate that high-entropy chaos without triggering systemic blowback.
Exactly.
And this raises an important question to leave you with. If belief is the ultimate tool that shapes probability, and these massive digital egregores are constantly harvesting your attention, whose reality are you actively helping to construct every time you open an app?